Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 24th. Hey, folks, first things first, this is Memorial Day weekend. There are going to be a ton of boats on the water. Please be safe out there. Be very aware. If you're drinking and enjoying that adult beverage type stuff, please be safe and consider it. Know your limits out there. But really, folks, watch for boaters, watch for people that are being towed behind other boats. Please be safe out there. There's going to be a lot of traffic out there on the water this weekend. But for those of you that are going to go fishing, you're going to brave those conditions. You're going to want to get on the water early and get off early. But we're going to spend some time here with Tom, Lee, Gentry, and Tracy to help figure out what you might catch on your body of water. Hey, it's a Saturday. We are going to go fishing today. Right now, we're going to check with our good friend Tracy Robinson, talk a little bit about Logan Martin and Lay Lake. Tracy, you pick where you want to go.
We'll just start at the top of Logan Martin. We just came off of the big Coosa River Team Trail event down there, 60, 70 boats, a lot of the best fishermen from the area there. So just to give you a little bit of a gauge there, 17 pounds won the tournament. There was a lot of 14 to 15 pound bags, maybe 20 or so bags in that 14 to 15 range. So a lot of 3-pound fish being caught there. For me, the best bite was swimming a jig in the grass. This past week. The water had came up with a lot of the rains. It's starting to come back down now, but as that water was at its highest point, those fish were really in the grass really good and kind of hovering above it. You could catch a lot of fish on top or swim jig or spinnerbait. That was kind of the deal. It's kind of slowly came back down this week, and the fish have moved back out just a little bit. They're not up there in those really shallow flats like they were. They're still shallow, still on the seawall, still on the boat dock, still in the grass, shallow, but it's got to be a little bit closer to the river now, at least closer to the creek or the river. Your crankbaits, your plastic, spinner baits, buzz baits, top water, everything's working, but it's just not as far away from the deeper waters it was.
Okay.
Seeing a
Yeah.
lot of crop. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the crappie fishing. What's going on there?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of crappie boats out here. Look like they're dragging some minnows around. A few jigs too. 6 to 8 foot brush is probably the best based off what I'm seeing on the live scope. Every time I get around some brush in that 6 to 8 foot range, I'm seeing a crappie in those treetops. So that's I would say is probably the best bet on Logan right now.
Okay, Lay Lake. Tell me what's going on there.
Lay Lake fishing really good. It has all year for the most part. That grass bite on Logan or Lay is just phenomenal. Swim jig, some topwater fish being caught in the morning. You can still yank the frog around in that grass as well. Some shallow baits, swim baits, a little bit out on the deeper water, the points, some jerk baits on the windy days. I'm starting to see a few of the fish starting to be post spawn and starting to kind of set up back in the trees like I like to catch them on the jerk baits and whatnot. So it's fishing really good though. 20 plus pounds winning all the tournaments on Lay. I don't have a good crappie report for Lay, but I am seeing a few boats out here catfishing and crappie fishing.
Yeah, it seems like it's the time of the year when the crappie are going to start to taper off. They'll get a little deeper, harder to catch. But yeah, those catfish, especially at night. Tracy, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. Thanks for the time that you spend with us. We'll talk to you again next week, my friend. Hey, we got our good friend Gentry Gordy here's joining us. We're going to talk a little bit of Lake Martin and some Jordan Lake fishing. Gentry, what do you want to go to first?
Let's start at Martin Dano because it's going to be a busy weekend up there. I'd say get there early. By lunchtime, it's time to get off that body of water. It's going to get pretty bad. But the top water bite on the seawalls is still real good. I didn't get a chance to go up there, but I talked to a friend that said that crankbait bites picking up. I think a lot of those fish that were pulled up, we're starting to move out on some of those deeper brush piles. And I say deeper, 10, 15 foot. But throwing like a 5 and 6 XD, kind of drilling it through the mud down there and deflecting it over the trash was getting some better bites, especially some bigger spotted bass to bite. The night bite's starting to pick up there because, we talk about it this time of year at Martin. The traffic gets so bad. A lot of times you just find those green lights and, a crankbait and a little jig up there and you can have a ball.
So you like throwing a crankbait at the nighttime?
Yeah, man, a bomber. It's like a fat-free shad. It's an old one I've had forever, but it's a shad-colored crankbait, and those spotted bass love it up there around those green lights.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good fun. Are you seeing crappie boats? Are you hearing any crappie boat fishing going on at Martin?
Yeah, and they're on those deeper brush piles with those bass. I have seen those. But too at night, especially, that's you'll see a lot of those guys tied up under the bridges and hitting those lights.
Okay. All right. Jordan Lake. I know there's got to still be some current going through that lake some. What are you seeing out of there?
Yeah, well, the guys that do it up the river, we talk about it all the time. They're up there, but man, it's hard for me to go up there when they'll hit a swim jig and a frog in the grass. There ain't nothing like a swim. And the Coosa River is known for it. Like down on Eufaula and places, we pull a spinnerbait through the grass, but you can't beat a swim jig anywhere on the Coosa River. The bluegill are still pretty active. I'm not 100%, but it could be getting close. We just fished the ABT down on Eufaula this past weekend, and we started to see a mayfly hatch. So
Okay.
I would just keep my eyes peeled at Jordan. If those mayflies show up, man, it's fun.
Yeah, you want to start throwing a popper around that because the brim are
Yep.
coming up to eat the mayflies and the bass are going to follow and eat them. So
Yeah,
yeah, a good popper bite. Those are good.
it usually takes a few days for like you'll see the brim, but you won't see the bass. It takes a couple days. They realize they're there. Then a popper, a black and blue jig, and a floating worm is hard to beat.
Gentry, as always, my friend, we appreciate everything, and we will talk to you again next week. Hey, we got Tom Ott joining us. We're going to talk a little bit of Guntersville fishing. Tom, I bet those fish are starting to kind of slide out to those ledges. The shad spawn's probably over, but then you got a brim bed deal going on, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we the last 3 weeks the Brent or the shad spawn's been really good. It started to kind of tail off. There's still a little bit. You can still find a little bit of it here and there. The brim beds. That's probably where the majority of the bites are coming from right now. And again, it's some of those same old baits. That you could throw. A swim jig, a chatterbait, even a swim bait. Those fish are slowly starting to move away from the brim, and they'll be there for a while. They'll be there till the brim actually just dissipate, get completely out of those little hard spot areas. But I'm starting to see during the daytime those fish are slowly moving back out, and they might not be going all the way to the ledge, but they're getting out in that 8-10 foot of grass, just kind of holding out there on either little small creek channel ledges and anywhere that you're going to find your bait fish holding later in the daytime. So there's still a good bite out there that you can do, with a medium running crankbait, a square bill, anything along those lines will still catch those fish. But we're starting to slide into that summertime pattern. Everybody knows that's a ledge deal out there on Guntersville. And there are some deeper grass areas where a big worm can help you out, a big jig can help you out, a grass jig. Just the thing about the ledges is there's just so many people out there. Everybody wants to fish them, so you've got to go kind of look. It's always great to pull up on a spot that's got 100 fish on it. It's really difficult to do that anymore or this time of the year. So what you're going to look for is, an area that's got 5 to 10, 12 fish sitting on it. Little obscure areas. I like to look in that 10 to 15 foot range. But anywhere you see small points, cuts on the ledges, look for those areas and key on those smaller groups of fish versus the larger groups that have been beat up, pulled off. You can really throw a variety of baits. I mean, a Ned head, a shaky head, a Ned rig. Anything along those lines is just a little bit different than a big football jig or dragging a Carolina rig or something like that. So just a little bit different. Just think about that when you're looking at these fish. I think it'll help you out, and it'll definitely help you put some more fish in the boat and some bigger fish in the boat.
Yeah, and I know that catfish bite is going to start picking up here pretty quick, and you might even start to see some stripers schooling out there on the main river.
Oh,
But I know there's a lot going on at Guntersville. Tom, you always keep us updated, and we appreciate it, sir. Thanks for the time that you spend with us, and have a great rest of your day. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 24th. Hey, we're joined in studio by our good friend Lee Pitts, who came down to hang out at the dealership a little bit today, talk a little fishing, talk a little boats, talk all kinds of stuff. But we're going to talk fishing on Neely Henry and on Weiss Lake. Lee, what's going on at Weiss Lake right now?
You know, we're still having a little bit of water issues. Still got a lot of stained water, but I think the fish are kind of getting used to it. They're acclimating to it pretty good. You got to kind of watch. It's with the way they're pulling the water. If the water is up full pool, maybe a little bit above, that grass is a great bite right now. Swimming a jig, spinnerbait, buzzbait, they're really getting just in real shallow water. I mean, they'll get up there in the dirt. If they drop it down 3 or 4 inches, you need to pull out a little bit. It's just one of those things, especially your good fish. The swim bait bite has been a great bite. Spinnerbait has been good, but you just got to watch that water fluctuation. Wood cover has been good. When the water falls, jump on those docks, hit some of the shallow docks, look for some of the stumps, some of the laydowns, and just know, watch that water, watch what it's doing, and you can kind of position yourself where you can catch them.
Okay. Is the crappie bite still going, or is it starting to taper off?
It's tapering off. We've got a little bit of a crappie bite still. We're getting in that summertime deal where they backed out. They've got away from some of the docks. Some of the smaller fish are still there. But getting in the creek channels, getting out in that main lake, any kind of brush you can find, treetops, things like that we've sunk out through it. And it's holding some fish on it, dropping more live bait down on them.
All right. Neely Henry, what's going on there?
Neely is also stained right now, but once again, finding those eddy spots, finding some of the backs of these creeks, some of the little pockets that clean up a little bit. That's one of the things that you got to look for. The main river system, if you got a lot of current coming through there and it's a lot of mud, you might want to kind of tuck in around behind some of the little creeks that are coming in, some of the eddy spots. But the same thing here, Neely and Weiss fish a lot of light. Spinnerbait, buzzbait early. A frog bite's been real good down here. Just got turned on to some new hooks that I wasn't real sure about, but man, I'm a believer right now with those spear point hooks. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that croaker choker's a good one.
Yes, sir.
And I know the flipping bite won't be too far behind. You might be able to get out there and you hit the edges of the grass and kind of penetrate a little bit with a big weight. I know that's the bite at Neely Henry. What about the crappie? You hearing anything there?
Yeah, they're still around some docks on Neely. You just they're trying to get in that shade, get out of that sunshine. The docks that have 4, 5, 6 foot of water on it, well, maybe a little brush added to it. That baby shad's been real good. You may, where you can get out of that current, go to a 1/32, a lighter head to slow that fall down a little bit. They're just laying down there real lethargic. So something that you can get deep under these docks and get in the shade. You still catch good crappie.
Lee, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. It's good to see you down here, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. See you next week.
Well, that will wrap up our Bucks Island area fishing report for this Memorial Day weekend here in 2025. Thanks to the guys every week for spending the time with us that they do. And of course, folks, if you're looking for that last-minute boat, try to get in here. We might be able to help you get on the water for your Memorial Day weekend. Come see Katie, Melissa, and Patrick here in the sales department. Of course, we got the parts and the service with Pat and Misty and their crews in those respective departments. And then, of course, if you're looking for that tackle item to swing a few fish over the rails of your boat, go see Colin and Jamie upstairs in the loft. Thanks for spending the time with us. You are the most important part of Bucks Island. Without you, there is no island. And we'll talk to you soon.